Good afternoon, everyone. This is Joe Papano from Fiberlink Communications. Thanks for joining today. Today's a little bit of a special webinar. It actually marks the one-year anniversary of the More Webinar series. It's our 26th webinar. We've been doing them religiously every 2 weeks for a year now. And actually, I'm pleased to say that this one has had the most interest of any webinar we've done to date. So the topic is iPad 2 versus Xoom, and we're going to look at the two tablets from the perspective of the mobile user and what they might like and why they might prefer one tablet over the other, and of course from the perspective of the IT team that needs to figure out how to make sure these things are secure and managed. So we've got two great speakers today. We've got a proud iPad 2 owner, Josh Lambert. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
And of course, a familiar face or voice to anyone who's been on previous webinars, Donna Lima, who is a Motorola Xoom owner.
Hi, Joe.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. I know some folks are interested in our giveaway today, and at the end of the webinar, we'll tell you how you can take a chance to win either an iPad 2 or a Xoom. It'll be your choice. It'll be the Wi-Fi only version. We don't want to burden people with a cellular contract, but we'll tell you about that at the end of the webinar. And I did want to announce the winner of the webinar from last month, Tim Ty from HOV Services in Troy, Michigan. He's a network engineer there, and he won an iPad on a giveaway last month. So Tim, congratulations. I know you're on today, so thanks a lot. So what I want to do first, as we normally do, we run a few polls during the webinar, and the first poll I want to run is literally to ask people what it is that they are supporting or plan to support in the near future as far as tablets go. So while that's running, we'll kind of move on to the next slide here. And we're going to run this kind of just like a prize fight, so we're going to do a little bit of pre-fight analysis here and talk a little bit about the problem and I think why so many folks were interested in attending this webinar today. And I think the main thing is that there is a new contender to worry about in the enterprise, and that contender is the tablet, right? And at least with the customers that I've spoken with and prospects we speak to collectively, it seems like the tablet represents a kind of a perfect storm, right? It's got all the complexity that comes with managing and securing a smartphone, right? Especially the operating system challenges. And on top of that, it's got the complexity of the data plans and other things that come with it. But it also has the complexities of managing and securing a laptop computer, especially around application management and device management. So, you know, it is a hybrid. And so because it's a hybrid, it has problems associated or challenges associated with both devices. And I've listed some of those challenges in the next bullet. So certainly policies, right? Companies were defining smartphone policies around acceptable use, around use of personal phones, how they should be expensed, and who would pay the costs for the devices and the services. Certainly a whole set of management and security challenges. And all of those smartphone-associated issues also translate to the tablet world. On top of all that, you've got those laptop-type challenges like managing applications, and upgrading applications, which happen more or less automatically on smartphones today. So, you know, what we see when we talk to customers is what they're worried most about is management of the device, securing the device, inventory management, procurement, and they're worried about getting applications installed, upgraded, and removed from devices. And of course, the one I didn't mention here is they're worried about the costs. What are the device costs going to be? What are all these applications that I've got to go get going to cost me? And how am I going to manage the mobile data costs associated with these things? So those things seem to be the challenges. And I know I was speaking with a customer yesterday who is doing a tablet rollout, quick proof of concept right now. And one of the things that they're very concerned about is the management aspect of it. So it's definitely a real issue. So I'm going to share the poll results with you right now. Give me a second here. And no surprise, lots of folks are worried about the Apple iPad and the iPad 2. Lots of people with a Xoom, 40%, Donna, so nothing to be afraid of there. And of course, it looks like there's a contender out there on the horizon, the RIM BlackBerry Playbook, which will show up next week, I think, right? Monday, I think it goes on sale. And then kind of a variety of other tablet devices. So that's definitely pretty interesting. We're going to run another poll now to get a little bit more information. So clearly, lots of folks had a high level of interest in tablets. And we certainly want to understand, and we want to share with the folks that are here, what is it that you are, what is it's driving the need for tablets in your organization? So here comes the poll, and we'll share the results with everyone as soon as the poll closes. But we're really interested in what is it that's driving corporations to deploy or support smartphones in their organization. So we'll share that as soon as we get it. So, like any good prize fight, my PC's a little bit locked up here. I've got a feeling it's from all the folks answering the poll questions. So I'll have to kind of let this go for a sec. So with any good prize fight, it always starts with the tail of the tape, right? What do our two fighters actually look like? What do they weigh? So we're going to start our fight the same way. And Josh, you've got the iPad 2 in your corner. I'm going to let you start and tell us all about the iPad 2.
Sure. Thanks, Joe. So as you can see here from our spec sheet comparison, the height and width of the two contenders here are largely similar. The iPad 2 is a little thinner and a little lighter, so those are two advantages it has. It also runs the same iOS as all the rest of Apple's mobile devices, iPhones, iPods, etc. That's Apple iOS 4.3. That's an upgrade from the iPad 1, and that's the Apple A5 dual-core chip, which runs at 1 gigahertz. So they're pretty nicely matched up there. The display, however, is unchanged from the original iPad. It's a 9.7-inch 1024 by 768 display, and that is a 4:3 aspect ratio, so it's kind of familiar for your standard computer monitors. The camera, however, is only a 0.69 megapixels. It's primarily meant for video. That's good enough for 720p, so you can get some pretty good quality video, but you're not going to really get great quality still camera shots out of this. So you might want to look to another device for that purpose. The batteries, like the original version of the iPad, is great. You can get 9 hours of 3G life, 10 hours of Wi-Fi, 1 month of standby. On the application side of things, since the iPad has been around for a while longer, we do have 82,000 plus iPad-optimized applications. This does not include the applications that run on the iPhone that kind of run in compatibility mode. These are ones optimized specifically for this form factor. On the price line here, you've got $499 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi only model, up to $829 for the 64 gig model, which includes 3G. On the availability side of things, it is limited. While it is available in 25 countries, you might have a hard time finding it. I did some quick checks prior to this conference, and while I could find some quantities of the iPad 2 in stores, the model selection was very limited. So you might not get the model you want, but from what I've seen, just kind of a cursory look, they do have some stock of some types available. As far as units sold, clearly demand is there, as you can see from the availability line above, and no one really knows for sure, but it's people are thinking around in the millions for the iPad 2 alone.
Wow. Well, your fighter looks like he's in pretty good shape for this bout, Josh. Donna, why don't you tell us about the Xoom?
Sure. So in regards to dimensions, the Xoom is a little bit bigger and heavier, but it does have a larger display at 10.1 inches. It's running for the OS Honeycomb Android 3.0, which is a tablet-specific Android operating system. Currently for the storage, it comes with 32 gigs, but there is going to be future support for a micro SD card that will hold up to 32 gigs with a software update, so it'll give you the ability to upgrade to 64 gig. The aspect ratio for the Xoom is really designed more for the landscape type view, which is good if you're going to watch videos, TV shows, etc., as compared to the more upright view of the iPad 2. In regards to the camera, it's got a 5-megapixel camera, which is pretty good. In regards to the battery, it's quite around the same as the iPad 2. In regards to applications, I really think that Google is still trying to catch up in the tablet world, whereas most of the apps that are out there will run on the tablet. They've only really tablet optimized about 52 applications to date, so they still have some catching up to do in that realm. In regards to price, you can get the Wi-Fi only version for $5.99, or the 3G Wi-Fi version for $7.99, or if you buy it with a contract from Verizon, you can also get that for $5.99.
Fantastic. Thanks, Donna. Well, it looks like I'd maybe say right now the tail of the tape might lean a little bit towards the iPad 2, but I think the Xoom's got a puncher's chance. So let's get the fight started here. And, you know, really, I think if you look at the poll results that I shared, supporting employee-owned tablets was selected by 49% of the folks on the poll who took the poll. So I really think the message here for all of us is that the mobile user is throwing the first punch, right? They're the ones that are driving this as much as anything else. And so we're now going to talk about which tablet might be a better fit from a mobile user perspective and their pluses and minuses. So Donna, I'm going to let you throw the first punch for the mobile user.
Thanks, Joe. So the first point that I wanted to make from the mobile user perspective, as most of us know, Android is an open source platform, so it has a high pace of innovation, which can be good and it can also be bad in some cases. So the end user or the developer has the ability to create their own applications and then easily upload those applications into the App Store without having to go through an approval process from Google, as you would find with Apple. So it's good in that sense. However, if you look at it from the other end of the spectrum, it has a tendency to make the Android market a little bit messier, but Google is trying to work on that and trying to clean things up and keep a better policing of that in regard to the vulnerabilities and not being you know, quite as restricted in regards to the platform. The next point I wanted to make is web browsing. So the Xoom does support Flash, which the iPad 2 does not. It also has the ability to tab with your browsing, so you can have multiple pages up at once. Overall, the Xoom it's just fast. I have one of my own, and downloading and installing an application, you know, is as quick as a blink of the eye. So that's really one of the good things from the end user perspective. Google bundled apps, so it comes with Google Maps, with the navigation, voice search, Google Talk, music player, movie studio, etc. So you have the ability to kind of multitask and already have those things out of the box.
And for you know, like a mobile workforce, I mean, I have a HTC Android, and that Google Voice Search is awesome, and the integration with Maps for like a sales guy that's trying to get directions or find a place where he's got to go for a sales call is really convenient.
Definitely. So out of the box, 4G does not come on the Xoom. However, you do have the ability, when that's available, to get a free upgrade to get the 4G capability. You also have the availability through multiple channels. So for the Wi-Fi only version, you can get that at Costco, Amazon.com, etc., some other stores, and then as well as for the wireless carriers at Verizon for the Wi-Fi and 3G models, as well as at Best Buy. The last point that I wanted to make in regards to the end user perspective is the customization. So what does that mean? So with Android, you get the notification toolbar, as we're aware of in regards to the mobile device. On the Xoom tablet, you get the same type of notification. However, it is in the lower right-hand side of the tablet to kind of give it a more tablet-optimized feel, but you still get the same functionality. As well as the ability to customize your home screen, add any widgets to any applications that you might have. You can change the keyboard. So, if you like to tinker around, this, the Xoom is definitely for you.
That looks pretty good, Donna. So it really looks like the Xoom strengths here are with web browsing, Flash support, and we all know there's nothing out there on the internet in Flash. So why would you need to support that? Josh, why don't you tell us about the iPad 2?
Sure. So from a consumer's perspective here, we'll start with how it feels in your hand. And the iPad 2 and a lot of Apple's mobile products are on the leading edge of industrial design. So they've got a great unibody design of aluminum and glass, and this kind of leaves it a great amount of rigidity, so it feels very solid, and has a nice amount of heft to it. It's also very thin and strong. It's no plastic anywhere on the device, which is some people appreciate, as well as the new smart cover on the iPad 2 is pretty handy. Comes right on, comes right off. It's very easy to use, and it's very slick and doesn't add much additional weight or size to the device as far as the cover is concerned. Next up is really the ecosystem, and that's iTunes. Most people are probably familiar with us on this call, the iTunes software from using with their iPod. It's the same management application that you use with your iPhone and iPad as well. So you can manage your entire stock of music, movies, TV shows, books, etc. And not only can you manage them, but you can also add to your collection. So there's a whole iTunes store out there, which you can rent, buy movies, download new music. It's one of the major music sources and sellers in the world, as well as books and applications, of course. So it's a really great ecosystem. Everything works fantastic for your mobile device, and it's a really seamless experience. Moving on down to the support aspect of what do you do after you buy the device and you may have problems with it. Apple has a great support system in the form of the Apple stores. So they're all across the country. They offer the Genius Bar, where you can take your device in if it's having problems, have a tech analyze it right there in front of you, talk with them face-to-face, and if you need a repair and it's under warranty, they can get that done right there while you're waiting in the store. Or if you just need some kind of help or assistance, they have one-on-one training available as well. They do have a phone support option, but you know, I personally prefer just walking into the local store.
Well, you know, I think we all know, for the folks that are in IT, that, you know, often the sales force is among the most technically savvy people in an organization. And so, you know, you may not want to use this or need to use it all that often, but it's sure nice to know that Apple's got stores all over the United States that can help fix a problem or get somebody running who's not running. And, you know, all of us in IT could certainly appreciate, you know, Apple's ability to do that.
And the last item for ongoing support is really the OS updates. So for a good example here is the iPhone 3G. This device is a few years old, but it still gets releases day and date of the new devices across the world. So you don't have to worry about if my older device will get that next OS update, or if it might take 6 months for my carrier to approve it. So these are all rolled out across all their devices in lockstep day and date.
Yeah.
And last up, from the consumer perspective, is really the apps. So kind of as we alluded to a little bit earlier in the specs, on the tablet side, a lot of cases, it does have the application first, and oftentimes it might be a little bit more polished than, say, some of the other devices out there. Two examples I'll highlight here are Netflix. There is a great Netflix application on the iPad for streaming your movies if you have a Netflix account. It's not quite yet available on Android devices. And similarly, MLB At-Bat, also a great application for if you're a baseball fan on the iPad. While they do have an Android application, it's not yet optimized for the Honeycomb tablet. So the applications are a good bet here for the iPad.
Yeah, I mean the iPad ecosystem, I mean the whole Apple ecosystem for mobile devices, from iPods all the way up, is really flawless. So you can't find any fault there. So we're going to move on to the next round. Okay, so that mobile user's thrown the first punch, and the IT team may be on the ropes a little bit here, and they need to defend themselves. So let's talk a little bit about what some of the security features and management features that are built into these devices are, and how an IT team can maybe get a little bit better handle on how they might adopt or bring these into their organization. So in round two, we're going to let Josh throw the first punch for the iPad 2. Josh, take it away.
Sure. So from an IT support perspective, the iPads are pretty easy. There's only two of them, the iPad 1 and the iPad 2. They run the same OS for the iPads as well as the iPhones and iPods. So there really is not a lot of fragmentation here on the iOS side of things. All the iPads do support full encryption, so you're well protected there from a corporate standpoint. As far as carriers go, the iPad 2 is available on AT&T and Verizon here in the United States. So you got great coverage for if you're buying a 3G model. as well as worldwide. If you're a larger company who might have employees elsewhere in the world, they do a lot of great GSM carriers where you can buy the device from. Going on to how you kind of manage the device, Apple's been kind of building up their device management support for the last couple of years. There's a great option called the iPhone configuration utility. It also works with the iPad. It's great for getting kind of an initial configuration out on your device before giving it to a user, and it is free, so you can go ahead and try it.
Yeah, and folks, if you go up to YouTube and type iPhone configuration utility, you'll find a video that Donna did about, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago on how to use the iPhone config utility to help manage an iPhone, so yeah, pretty interesting.
And then recently, with the release of iOS 4.0 last year, they've actually added an over-the-air configuration management and ongoing control functionality to iOS, which is great for companies who want to take the next step and actually kind of manage the devices on an ongoing basis. Moving on down to some of the user features for the enterprise, iOS has great Exchange support. So they have, you can easily get your push mail along with the calendar invites and send out new calendar invites, along with great integration into the Exchange contact list. So you can, the phone easily imports all of your contacts from mail, phone, as well as a calendar, of course, from the Google address list of your Exchange server. So there really is no issues there as far as supporting your Exchange environment. Moving on down to some of the applications you might use for productivity, there are a couple Office suites available in the iPad. Quick Connect is one. My personal preference is the Apple suite. They have a great PowerPoint product, similar PowerPoint product in Keynote, Pages and Numbers. You can buy these separately. They're pretty reasonable in price. They work fantastic for kind of on-the-go document creation and viewing. That goes above and beyond the kind of preview support. As far as VPN support, pretty wide array here. Cisco VPN, Cisco AnyConnect, Juniper F5, as well as PPTP and L2TP. And then again, if you're a company who actually uses certificates for authentication, you're well supported there as well for both Exchange, Wi-Fi, and VPN support.
Wow, nice array of defenses there for the iPad 2. Donna, why don't you tell us what the Xoom can do?
Sure. So the Xoom does have hardware-based encryption, which I know a lot of us were looking for coming in the Android OS. The touchdown email application is actually free from the Android market for your tablet. So they do have a tablet-optimized version of touchdown, and it looks really nice on the device. I use it, and it's great. In regards to VPN support, you get all the different options, PPTP, L2TP, etc. And in regards to an actual application, for example, I know that Cisco is in the works of coming up with an app. However, it looks like that app is only going to be available on their tablet. So just something to keep in mind moving forward into the future here. With Quick Office and Documents to Go, with the free version, it's a viewable ability for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. You can purchase it to get the editing rights for that. And of course, with any IT infrastructure, you get presented with challenges. So I just wanted to talk about a couple that often come up whenever we talk about Android here. So the first one is the fragmentation of the Android. We're all aware of it, and it looks like Google is definitely, obviously aware and is taking it more seriously in regards to the tablet space. For example, they're not releasing the 3.0 code, keeping the 3.0 code specifically to the tablet space, and also working closely with Motorola to develop that the right way. And then also, with the application vulnerabilities that we've all heard about, they're also cracking down harder on that as well. By doing a better job policing the market, since they do have the ability to remove any app that might be vulnerable from the market, as well as Google having the ability to remove those applications from the actual devices.
So a device that had downloaded an app that Google decides later shouldn't have been in the market in the first place, they can push a button on their end and remove that app?
Exactly.
That's pretty interesting. So that's kind of the highlights in terms of what the IT team can do. And we're going to talk a little bit now. We're going to move into round 3 here and show you what MAS 360 can do really quickly to help you with some of these things. And so I'll give you a quick diagram here that gives you the basic architecture of the MAS 360 Enterprise Mobility Management Platform. And really, the premise or the key takeaway here is that it's a single portal that would let you manage tablets, smartphones, and even laptops through one single integrated portal that can manage the device completely as well as the security of the device. So that's what the MAS 360 Enterprise Mobility Platform does for you. Supports Android, iOS devices, as well as Windows and Mac OS X laptop devices as well. And so through one single portal, you can get dashboards, reports, and management capabilities to all of those devices. So that is what the platform is. And I thought I'd do a quick demo, and I'm going to move really quickly here. This is actually a screenshot. We're actually going to go look at Donna's Xoom and Josh's iPad 2 in our MAS 360 demo account. So I'm going to try here. Give me a minute. I'm going to switch over to my web browser. And this is always a bit of a risk, but hopefully you can all see that. And this is the home page of the MAS 360 portal. Oh, I'm going to have to log in here. I was afraid of that. So give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm logging in right now. And what I will come to for the home page of the portal is our watch list. And basically this will give you a quick dashboard of basically your mobile posture and highlights of any things that you may want to pay attention to or go check out. So this is really kind of the starting point, and you could quickly find out whether you may have a problem or something you need to go pay attention to here. So this is what you see when you first come in. I've actually already got a saved search that I'm going to bring up here, which will narrow down those 40 or so devices that we're managing in this account down to just Josh's tablets and Donna's tablets. Josh actually has 2 tablets, his old iPad, which I guess you've retired now, huh, Josh? What's it do now? It's a paperweight? You don't know.
It's always good to have multiple devices. So.
And you know, what you can see here is kind of a brief view of each device. So I'm going to kind of start with Donna's Xoom here, and we'll get a look at the device itself. And so what we're seeing here is kind of the hardware overview. We're going to get the inventory information about this device, so you can see, you know, kind of the details of the hardware itself, manufacturer, model, operating system. And there are a number of different views that you can then get of the device. So I'll show you a couple that are popular with customers here. One is the security and compliance view, where you can actually see some really important security information about your device. Like, for example, has the device been rooted or not? So Donna has not rooted her device, which is nice. You can also find out what policies are in place for the device and whether or not the device is compliant with those policies. So, for example, Donna's device passcode status policy is set, and she is compliant with that policy. So obviously this is an important one if you want to understand whether a device is secure or not. And of course, another one that is very important with tablets is what software is installed on the device. So hopefully, Donna, you don't have anything you shouldn't have installed here, but you know, here's a list of the applications that are installed on Donna's Xoom, and you can see that you know, you can get that you can get a pretty exhaustive list there. So that's just kind of 2 of a bunch of different things that you can see, including an audit history of the device itself and the actions performed on it. I'm going to show you quickly what kind of actions you can take, and you know, they're the normal ones you would expect for mobile devices, right? I want to lock the device, I want to wipe the device, I want to reset the device's passcode. I'll show you a quick one here. We're going to see if we can locate Donna's device here, and while that's running in the background while we try to locate her device, you know, I'll just show you that you know, I didn't want to tell you guys this, but actually. Neil Florio said that whichever device loses the fight today, we're going to do a wipe of it. So that's what happens to the loser. So all the normal things that you would expect to see for managing a smartphone are here as well for a tablet. And I'm just waiting for the portal to talk to Donna Xoom. Oh, there it comes. And that is, in fact, our headquarters there. Hopefully you can all see that in Bluebell, beautiful Bluebell, Pennsylvania. Nice spring day today. And so nice feature, kind of neat, fun. And I'll quickly return back to the results, and we'll quickly take a look at Josh's iPad 2, but it's fundamentally the same thing. So here's Josh's iPad 2. We get the same set of views. We can look at the hardware. We can look at the security and compliance. We can look at the software that's installed on the device. There we go. And, of course, we've got the same set of actions. We can lock it. We can wipe it. We can do selective wipe for iOS devices. So that's MAS 360 and its ability to manage tablets in a nutshell. Pretty much the same as with smartphones. So I'm going to quickly jump back to our slides. Second here. There we go. So you've seen all that, and we're just going to kind of wrap up here really quickly with kind of the scorecard before we let all of you vote on who won. So obviously, I'd say what we heard today really was that the iPad 2 probably has the best content ecosystem. Josh, I'll let you speak to your device. Sure.
So kind of going back through some of the major items here. Again, as Joe mentioned, the ecosystem is great. iTunes is a single place for all of your media purchasing needs, iTunes, movies, music, books, apps, etc., as well as managing your device from upgrades to figuring out what movies you want on which device, etc. It's also a very cohesive platform. There's a manageable number of devices, one a year for each of the lines, essentially. A predictable OS upgrade path in the sense that generally these devices are supported for multiple years, and their upgrades and OS upgrades are released day and date largely in lockstep with the rest of the devices that are out there for the Apple devices. Last, support is a great option there for for Apple products at the Apple stores across the country. You've got, again, in-person, face-to-face help if you need it. So that's great.
Donna?
All right. So with the Xoom, the platform growth and innovation, it's really moving along quickly, and there's a high pace for the innovation itself. So currently, the Android is the #1 OS. It's expected that the tablet market will follow what we've seen in regards to the smartphone market in regards to trending. It's constantly changing. Another point that we made earlier, it's very customizable. You can customize the UI, for example, any icons, home screens, widgets. So again, if you like to tinker around, you don't want to go with the iPad 2. But and then lastly, in regards to the performance, the web browsing, it's super fast. As I said before, there's tabs. App downloads and installs are, really quick. And then lastly, I just wanted to say that it runs Flash. Again, the iPad does
again
not.
and again.
And then just one last point real quick. There are talks of Google collaborating possibly with Amazon to offer services similar in regards to Apple's in regards to movies and music, so hopefully coming soon we'll get that same usability in the Android.
Okay, I'm going to run this poll really quickly. We're going to do one more poll where we're going to ask you what it is that is most concerning your organization related to the adoption of tablets, and we'll share the results as soon as we're done. I think we covered a lot of ground today. I mean, it's clear that the tablet there's an element to the tablet phenomenon right now that's a little bit different than the smartphones, and I really think it has to do with the fact that to some degree a number of corporations solved their smartphone problem 3 or 4 or 5 years ago by adopting BlackBerry and putting a BES server in, and their strategy right now, and this is, we know this from talking to them, is I'm trying to figure out how to support all these other things that are going to kind of, over time, probably chip away at my deployed BlackBerry base and, you know, figure out how to pull them in. There is no such thing or thing like a BlackBerry in the tablet space, and I think that's why there's so much interest in what can be done to manage these types of devices today. So I think that really is kind of what drove the interest, and the poll's just about getting ready to wrap up here. I will share the results right now, so hang on a second. No surprise, security and management were the #1 concerns. And application management a top concern as well. So that doesn't surprise me, because that certainly reinforces what I hear frequently from folks that are doing tablet pilots right now. That's what they're most worried about. So that's good that the folks on this call had the same thoughts. So with that, I'm going to open our final poll. We're going to ask 2 questions here. We're going to ask who won today's fight, and we're going to ask you who should be the contender the next time to take on whoever wins today's fight. So I know we're all going to be waiting with bated breath here. Josh and Donna have been teasing each other all week about who is going to win this fight. So we got a couple more seconds here, and then we will announce the results. Josh, Donna, what do you think? Caught them off guard. All right, give us a couple more seconds here. There's definitely some clear winners for today's bout, and also the card for our next prize fight here. So here you go, folks. I don't think it's going to be a big surprise. The iPad 2 definitely is the tablet that I think organizations feel most comfortable with. Sorry, Donna. I think partly that's a reflection of, you know, frankly, how Apple's managed to basically lap the world with this whole form factor, right? They caught everybody off guard, and now they're kind of reaping the benefits of that. And frankly, I'm not surprised either that there's a lot of interest in the BlackBerry Playbook. So look for a webinar. We'll probably have a playbook in here sometime next week. We'll start playing around with it, and you know, look for us to do something either in Q2 or maybe Q3 where we do a refresh of this, looking at an iPad 2 versus a BlackBerry Playbook. Should be pretty interesting. I know folks will be very interested in that. So the champ is the iPad 2. We had a feeling that was going to happen, but I had this slide ready just in case. It was the Xoom. But it was, in fact, the iPad 2. So we're going to do a quick wrap-up. I know we went a little bit long. I appreciate folks' patience. As always, Donna and Josh's contact info is here, and you also have mine if you have any questions or follow-up. Our next webinar is April 26th. It's on a Tuesday, not a Thursday, as they usually are. And we're going to have Ben Gray from Forrester Research and Jim Safransky, our Senior VP from Customer Platform Services, talk about how to map mobility strategy to meet the new demands that mobility places on you, whether that's consumerization or tablet adoption. So I know Ben is well known probably to most of the folks on the call if you haven't spoken or heard him speak before. That should be really interesting. Obviously, the Master Center has tons of content. All of our past webinars are up there. This one will be up there in a couple of days. Lots of great information about mobility there. And finally, I'll talk quickly about the contest. So obviously, someone's going to win either an iPad 2 or a Xoom. What you need to be eligible is sign up for our free trial for Maz 360. So when I end this webinar, your browser's automatically going to redirect to this page here. And all you need to do is click the Get Started button, and within a couple of minutes, if you have a tablet or a smartphone, you could be managing that tablet or smartphone just like you saw me managing Donna and Josh's tablets a few minutes ago. So it is literally that quick and easy, and it's obviously free. So there's really no reason not to give it a try. Give it a try. Well, we think the product speaks for itself, and you're going to like it. So really want to encourage you there, and obviously someone who does try it is going to get a chance to win the tablet of their choice. Also, in a couple of minutes, probably around 2:45, 2:50, everyone who registered for this webinar and everyone who's attending is going to get an email that will have a link to today's slides, because I know everybody always wants to get the slides. So today's slides, you'll get an email in a few minutes with the link to today's slides. Also a link to this page where you can go if you want to get more information, take the trial and enter in the contest. Also a link to register for the next webinar with Ben Gray from Forrester. And then finally, a link to all of our past recorded webinars if you're interested in looking at some of those. So I apologize, we went a little bit long. I'm not going to do Q&A right now, but what we will do is, if you've got questions, send them to us via chat or via Q&A, and we'll answer them, and we'll post the answers up on the Master Center and send an email out where you can get all those answers probably over, middle of next week. It usually takes us a few days to pull together all the answers to all the questions. So hopefully you found it informational and hopefully a little bit entertaining. Josh, Donna, thanks for all the hard work you put into all this, and I want to thank all the folks who attended today, and good luck winning that iPad 2 or Xoom. So thanks again, everyone. Josh, Donna, thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.